Blog Talk Radio.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on a tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that's what I mean. And this old world is a new world and a bold world for me. For stems of the pine, you know how I feel. Oh, freedom is mine, and I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I feel so good. I feel so good.
The Certain Ones Talk Show, hosted by inspirational author and playwright Vanessa Richardson. The Certain Ones, aspiring to inspire. With your host, playwright, author Vanessa Richardson. You can tune in to the Certain Ones Aspiring to Inspiring Talk Show on www.blogtalkradio.com/thecertainones.com. And now, here's your host, Vanessa Richardson.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Certain Ones Blog Talk Radio Show, where I'm your host for the delightful hour, Vanessa Richardson. Thank you so much for joining us here every Thursday, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern, thank you so much for our listeners, and I want to thank our readers who, too, just make me do what I do deliciously. That's my favorite word for those who know me. Thank you for reading our articles, our monthly articles, the Certain Ones magazine. If you have not read those articles, what are you waiting on? I'm going to direct you very quickly to that site, and it's simply www.thecertainonemagazine.com. thecertainonemagazine.com. I mean, we have a gambit of authors and just delicious articles that will both motivate and inspire you. Like one of our guests, we're both our guests today, actually. We have a dynamic showcase today. I'm so excited today to have none other than Mr. Jonathan. He's here today, and he's going to talk to us about Love Thy Neighbor. If you don't know that show by now, you are under a rock. You're living under a rock, like I said before. Love Thy Neighbor is one of Tyler Perry's babies on the OWN network, Oprah Winfrey Network, and we're so delighted that we have one of the guests here, one of the stellar, I call them stellar because their performances are just phenomenal. I mean, Tyler have this niche, this knack, whatever you call it, to finding these talents and just bringing them to the fore. And I'm so excited to have one of those talents here tonight from Love Thy Neighbor. I'm so excited. So this is what I want you to do. And my excitement and yours, too. Go ahead and phone your friends, your family, and your neighbors. Go ahead and Facebook this. Go ahead and tweet this, Google Plus, or whatever you have to do. Let them know that Mr. Jonathan Chase is on the scene, and he stars as Sam Parker. You know, he's a self-proclaimed wow man on Love Thy Neighbor. Hilarious. And also joining the cast, for those who know, Mr. Tony Grant has joined the cast. I'm absolutely a fan of his. Had the opportunity to work with both he and his lovely wife, Trisha Grant. So we're excited that we have one of his partners here tonight on the Certain Ones. So we're going to top the hour off with him. And then we have author extraordinaire Marlene Banks. She is in the house also. And we're going to talk about her novels tonight. She has a new one out, actually. And it's called Gunmen Have No Sabbath, an Exodus Saga. And that has been released May of this year. So we're excited to have her on. She's the author of several wonderful books, such as A Happy Anniversary, A Be Happy Romance, Son of a Preacher Man, Greenwood and Archer, After the Riot, Ruth's Redemption, just so many books that I want to just delve right into with her, chop it up, and talk to her about. Now, for those who don't know where we are, let me give you that location. We are here live right now at blogtalkradio.com /The Certain One. That's blogtalkradio.com /The Certain One. If you don't want to call into the show, that's fine. Just join us here. And if you can call into the show, that's great also. And that number is simply 917-932-1607. Again, that number is 917-932-1607. Now, Mr. Jonathan Chase, he has an impressive resume, dossier. He really does. And for those of you who don't know, which I didn't either, listen to this. He starred in the CW series Veronica Mars. You didn't know that? He made multiple episodes on that show. He also starred in Kayla Pratt, you remember her, One-on-One? He was in that. That was on the UPN network. He also starred opposite of Gary Busey. Come on now. in the Gingerdead Man. So he's done several movies and sitcoms, and I'm glad to have him here tonight in the studios, our virtual studio. Now, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring him on because we're going to jump right into this dialogue. Welcome, Mr. Chase. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing deliciously.
I love it.
How are you, Vanessa?
I'm great. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. The first thing, I watch you on the show weekly, and the first thing comes to mind, I don't know if you had this comparison, and if you did, it's quite a great compliment, if you will. Do anyone
Winona Ryder?
Jim Carrey? No.
Oh, Jim Carrey. Yeah, Jim Carrey. I don't get Winona Ryder. I thought you might say that, but yeah, no. Jim Carrey. I get that a lot, especially after Oprah tweeted that. People have been reusing that a bunch. That is, I'm very humbled by that. He's one of my comedy heroes. He is, and drama heroes. It's amazing.
I didn't know that Oprah tweeted that, but that's the first person that came to mind was Jim Carrey. When I see you, your comedic timing is perfect. It's great. So
thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you. Really appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun shooting that show.
That was my next question. I wanted to know the dynamics on the show. How do you get along with the cast? As I mentioned, Tony Grant, we worked with him for a couple of stage productions, he and his wife, and he's just a humble soul. So how do you get along there?
I love Tony. Love Trisha. They're amazing. Tony, he's going to kill me for saying this.
Uh-oh.
Tony is the reason that I had some very nice dates in college when he was in the group As Yet. There was a couple songs that he sang that definitely got a lot of people through college. That song Last Night. Yeah. Yeah. If he hears this, he's gonna slap me. He'll slap me. But it's out of love.
It's in love, Tony. We love you.
Yeah, we love you, Tony Grant. He is amazing. He's really funny too. I was so excited to see. We've been working together now for a while. He's really funny, and he's really grounded on the show too. He's got a very nice dramatic love story on the show. The whole cast, we get along really well. It's like a family. Like I'm in LA right now. Some of the cast is still in Atlanta, and we were tweeting and texting each other all night last night because the show was on the air, and so we're tweeting with each other and texting. We definitely miss each other a lot when we're in the off season.
I saw that last night. It's you know what? It's so refreshing to be able to go to your workplace, your job, and get along with your coworkers and those who are surrounding you. So that's a bonus for you. I'm glad to hear that it's copacetic.
I've never had this before. Yeah, I'm definitely blessed by God. I've never had this before. There's a lot of jobs I've had that I am grateful they're over. This is one I never want to end. I love this job.
Good.
I love every single one of my castmates, and the whole crew is amazing. It really is a big family.
That's
it really
great.
Is.
I want to ask, how did the role, this juicy role, this part come for you as Sam Parker? I'm familiar with Damira Brunson because Tyler did that great casting call. So how
she's amazing.
Isn't she though? You guys, you have to check her YouTube.
Her Whitney Houston is out of control. Her Whitney Houston impersonation is out of control.
And
her
the Beyonce
impression, not sure. Beyonce, amazing. Rihanna. Yeah, Darmira is unbelievable. She's going to have her own show one day, guaranteed.
I believe that. A
variety show, and I will be fortunate to guest star on it.
You will. I'm pretty sure she will not leave you behind. So how did you get Sam Parker? How did that happen?
Actually, it was. I read for it at the end of October, I want to say, in 2012, and it was New Year's Eve. I'm with my family. I'm in Colorado. I'm about to go out to dinner, New Year's Eve, and I got a call from my reps. Hey, they want to see you back in LA in 2 days. You're going to screen test for Tyler, and I'm like, for what? The show you read 2 months ago. Oh, really? They still? Oh, wow. Things move so fast usually, so I was so surprised that then I went back in, and I went back. I read with Palmer Williams, who is my family's favorite. Uncle Floyd, my parents are calling me all the time about Palmer. And I got to meet Patrice Lovely, who is a genius.
Oh my
gosh, Patty May is amazing. That character is brilliant, and she goes on the road. She does tours with that character too, in Tyler Perry's plays. And I got to meet Kendra C. Johnson. Beautiful, talented, brilliant. Love her. And then I got it. It was January 4th. I got the call from Tyler and the team, and they actually, before I did the series, they flew me out to do Madea Christmas. Tyler Perry's Madea Christmas. I did a supporting role in that. Right before I did the show, I was like, thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Wow. That's never happened in my life where someone's like, hey, come do this movie. Usually you have to read and you have to jump through hoops of fire and land on a dime and bow, But this was amazing, an amazing experience.
You know what, Tyler, he have a niche or gift to finding these incredible actors and actresses. And you're not the first one I hear to say that who auditioned, and a long time or several months later, you get the call back. You almost forgot that you did audition. So that speaks volume about who he is, both as a director, writer, producer, and the man. So when you went in there, because we have a lot of actors who listen to this show and aspiring authors, just, in the entertainment business. So when you went into audition, did you have to deal with any internal factors? Did you have to give yourself that, hey, pep talk, I'm going to do it, and I got this? How did you go? What's your mindset when you went into audition?
Wow, that's so tricky. I had an audition today. I had 2 earlier this week, movies and TV stuff. Every single meeting, you're always nervous. If you're not nervous, then you're probably not alive and you don't really care too much.
Exactly.
So it's good. Exactly. A good thing. I was definitely very much nervous, which meant I was very much alive. All I care about is the work. I just do the scene. The only thing I care about is doing the scene. I don't particularly do it for anyone else except myself. If I make myself laugh, it's a comedy. I know I did my job. If I'm feeling what I'm feeling for a drama, I know I did my work, and that's all that I care about. I live for the work, the scene. I don't look across the table for justifications of my value, which is the trick. And that took a long time of getting kicked in the nuts to figure that one out, especially in L.A.
It's hard.
Yeah, there's been something. I have done pilots after pilots, pilot presentations, which is like a 10-minute portion of a pilot, and those haven't gone. I've been fired from jobs, pilots, the leads in video games, all this stuff, and they've all kind of taught me that it has nothing to do with anything except the work. The most important thing at the end of the day, you always have your relationship to the other person in the scene, moment to moment. Are you connected? Are you breathing? That is what I think about, what I strive for at all times.
Great answer.
And obviously, he wants me to be funny on the show, so I push the line a little bit.
I believe that. Let me ask you this: did you always knew that you were gonna or did you fall into it? Comedic roles. Did you want to do something serious? You don't want to be pigeonholed. Where do you see yourself? Part 2 question. And I hate to throw this question out there. About 5 or 10 years from now.
10 years from now, I'll be on a drama for about a decade.
Wow.
I'll be on some kind of a legal or cop, guaranteed. That's where I'll be.
CSI Miami or CSI New York.
CSI
like
Aspen. I call it outright. CSI Aspen. Let's shoot it on a ski resort. No. Something fun. Maybe CSI Atlanta, right? Because I love Atlanta. It's so great down there.
Oh, I love that. Oh, awesome. So, how did you see yourself? Have you grown? Like, let's say 5. Let me give you a timetable from 5 years ago to now. Have you grown, Jonathan? I know you're doing Sam, but and it's huge as far as the rating goes on OWN. So, how did you see yourself developing more? Do you want to do more drama in the future, more comedy?
I'm actually, I'm not sure if I'm even allowed to say it, but I'm going to say it. Kendra C. Johnson is executive producing a short film about the Trayvon Martin story, and she asked me to play one of the roles in that. So we're working on a really heavy drama short for some festivals and whatnot. I'm really excited about that. Plus, I'm very grateful that Kendra thought of me.
Yeah.
So that's a neat timeline. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'm also producing a short film for a couple of brilliant actresses that are in my theater lab, my theater community. It is about connecting with humanity again and disconnecting from all this technology that we all have. Everyone's on their phones and stuff, and we forget there's like a real person across the table from you. So that's where I am immediately in my immediate present. In the future, though, have I grown in the past? Absolutely. Of course. There was a time when I would leave a meeting, and this is all you actors out there who go to auditions, and I mean, you guys do the work. You guys and gals do the work. I know exactly what you go through. I do that every day. I live out of my car. I got like 3 outfits in my car. I'm changing in the middle of like Wilshire Boulevard on my way to a second meeting. I get it.
Yes.
There was a time when I lived for the phone to ring.
Mm-hmm.
Your reps will call you like, oh, please, what's it going to be, you know? Or if you went in for something, oh, are they going to call me and tell me I did? I got it. Or that I didn't do well. What do I need to work? It was always so much leaning on the actor, my actor. And today I live my life, and I'm a full-rounded human. And I'm outside today gardening. I'm dealing with a bug infestation in my kale. I mean, that's my day.
Lord. Oh.
And so I go and I read for The New Girl today. I read for an episode of The New Girl. And the only thing I'm thinking about is, man, I got to get home. I got to take care of my garden. And then I'm writing the script. So it's not about the meeting, the audition, getting the job, you know, wanting the paycheck. It's about the work. I live my life. The best thing for an actor is to have someone you love, someone who you can share your life with, and building a family. Those things, if you have no experiences to draw from, what can you really storytell about?
Absolutely, absolutely. For those who just tuning in, the number is 917-932-1607, or join us over here on the Certain One Blog Talk Radio Show. I know you're busy. You got a gamut of things, as you've mentioned, to do today, and I want to first again thank you so much for joining us here and taking time out of your busy schedule. And you said so much.
Thanks for squeezing me in. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. And for those who are listening, he gave a plethora of information for you. Really listen to what he said. Go back and listen to the archives. We're going to be available upon demand in a couple of minutes. But Mr. Chase, before you go, I just want to say that you guys are doing a phenomenal job on Love Thy Neighbor. I love it. I'm a fan. We watch it. We DVR it, and the future looks bright, and I can't wait for the Trayvon Martin. And I think that was the first, you guys, the exclusive here on the Certain One.
Oh, I'm in trouble like 3 times on this interview. I said 3 things I probably shouldn't have. At least 3. But
you know,
if you can't speak candidly about things, then you shouldn't. I mean, why not? Why not?
It's going to come to pass. It's going to come to pass. So we have an exclusive here, you guys, on the Certain One. So, Ms. Chase, I'm so thankful that you joined us here. Break a leg, as they say in Hollywood. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you.
I'll break both.
Woo! I hear that.
No, I can't break both. It's a bad idea. Well, thank you so much, Vanessa. I'm off to a premiere tonight for something I did recently, so I appreciate you squeezing me in.
My pleasure.
And a big hug and kiss to all the fans out there. Love Thy Neighbor. Thank you so much. You make my job worth everything. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Have a good one. Thank you so much again. All
right. Be well.
Well, you guys, that was Mr. Jonathan Chase joining us here on the Certain One's Blog Talk Radio Show. What a phenomenal guy he is. Talented, too. We had almost 3 exclusives tonight. You know what? I'm so happy that you joined us to hear those exclusives tonight. So I'm going to take a break, and we're going to come back with author Marlene Banks. I absolutely love and adore Marlene Banks' work. I mean, if you are a history buff like myself, I love history, you're going to enjoy her reads, her books. You got to check her books out. Go on Amazon and check all her novels out. I said those books at the top of the hour. You want to go, I have them all in my collection except the new one that she has out. And we're going to Remy that soon, very soon. She has 2, actually. And we're going to be discussing them tonight. It's Gunmen Have No Sabbath, an Exoduster Saga, and Happy Anniversary, a Be Happy Romance. And I said before, Son of a Preacher Man, loved it. Greenwood and Archer, After the Riot, adored it. Bruce Redemption. You got to get it. What can I say? So we'll be right back. Don't touch that dial. We're going to take this short break, and we're going to come back and talk about our literary delights with author Marlene Banks.
Do you feel like you waste time on social media? Are you overwhelmed with all the information about online marketing? Do you want to be able to effectively manage your online presence? Set up a one-on-one consultation with DIYwithTy.com. Taora Moody, known simply as Ty, has over 12 years of experience and a down-to-earth personality that has put over 100 clients at ease. At DIYwithTy.com, we aim to take the mystery out of the geeky stuff in a way that anyone can understand, so you can learn how to do it yourself.
Are you a single Christian woman who's wondering where Mr. Right is? If so, I believe I can help you. Hi, my name is Afi Pittman, creator of Author of Faith Enterprises, the place of encouragement for today's single woman. I know firsthand how frustrating it is to just want to meet and marry Mr. Right already, and then to do everything you know how to do in dating and romance, and at the end of the day, still be single. But God used some very difficult situations in my life to teach me the art of contentment and how to prepare for marriage. If you're ready to live a full life, free from worry that you'll ever marry Mr. Right, and you want to marry God's way, I want you to join me at authorofmyfaith.com. Start by signing up for the Single and Preparing e-newsletter to get free articles, video devotionals, and company news. I also post new blog devotionals every week, along with articles on dating, healthy eating, and living. And you can also subscribe for those as well. So again, this is Afi Pittman with Author of Faith Enterprises, the place of encouragement for today's single woman at authorofmyfaith.com. I so look forward to hearing from you, and I would be honored to serve you on your journey to Mr. Right.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Certain Ones Blog Talk Show, where I am your host for the delightful hour, Vanessa Richardson. New day, and I'm feeling good, and I hope it holds true for you, too. At the top of the hour, we had a delightful, informative, motivational showcase with Jonathan Chase. For those who don't know, he stars in Tyler Perry's series Love Thy Neighbor on the OWN network. Stopped in out of his busy schedule. Really, literally, he's got to change his clothes and go to a premiere tonight, but he's taking time out of his schedule to talk to you and I. I'm so appreciative to all our guests who take time out of their schedule to talk to us. It makes you feel special. Why? Because we are special. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring my next guest on the hour. She's definitely a friend to the show. She's a friend to the show. She's been on here before. I love all her books, and she, as I mentioned, she has 2 out. But what making me salivate the most is The Gunmen Have No Sabbath, an Exodus saga. I want to talk about it. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring her on the line. My friend to the show, Miss Marlene Banks. Marlene, how are you doing tonight?
Hi, Vanessa. How are you? I'm doing well.
I'm great. Thank you for joining us at the 11th hour.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. It's always great to talk with you.
Absolutely. As I mentioned, we have great conversation always. I want to go ahead and jump right into it. The book that I want to talk about the most is, and I love the book cover, you guys, Gunmen Have No Sabbath. What's that about? Sounds like a Western.
Well, okay. Well, let me give kudos to our girl Tyra Moody, who helped me get that book cover. Yes, this is some of Tyra Moody's handiwork. We worked together with this. I got the pictures, and girlfriend put it together, because when I tried to put something together, it was horrible. But Tyra, girlfriend, hooked that. Didn't she hook it up?
She hooked it up, Tyra.
Yeah, so when you need some nice book covers, go to Tyra Moody, because she hooked it up. Yes,
Shout out.
Did.
Guess
Ty
what,
Webb and
Marlene?
Creations. She gets it.
That's it.
It's an A in my book.
A+++. She did my book cover as well.
Yes.
Lovely to me. She rocks. She's very talented.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and talk about this. Gunmen Have No Sabbath.
Gunmen is my first Western, and I have to say
I thought it was. Yes.
It was a lot of fun to write. Westerns aren't as popular as they used to be, so I'm told, but I happen to love Westerns. I grew up watching Westerns, and I've always been fond of them, but I see, I guess for the younger generation, they're not as popular. But I wanted something to feature black men, and I couldn't think of a better way to feature black men than in a Western, because I wanted manly, macho black men. And to me, that is the premier way to feature a manly man is in a Western.
Who you
now,
telling?
I know people say, well, look, these men today, they don't show them manly enough for me. So I wanted 4 manly, macho men.
4 of them.
Gunmen Have No Sabbath. The protagonists are 4 African-American cowboys, Westerners. It's a pioneer/Western fiction novel. It's a historical romance. And it features 4 men, and I'll give you their names: Gideon McCoy, Caleb Kane, Joshua Boudreaux, and David Boone Tennyson. They're 4 fast guns. And when the first time I described them to a book club, these sisters went off. I said they're 4 fine black men on horses with guns strapped on their hips, and them sisters went off.
I can imagine.
And I said, this is a figment of my imagination, ladies. So this is what we have. These are my fantasy men, and so this is why I write the way I want them to be. These men are fast guns, and I'll give you a quick rundown with the story. They're fast guns, and they come to an actual town. Now, you know I like to weave true historical events with fiction.
Yes.
The true part of this story is the town. The town is called Nicodemus, Kansas. Nicodemus is an actual town. It's the only still surviving African-American town from the old pioneer days, and it's still surviving today in Kansas.
Yes.
It's called Nicodemus, Kansas.
One to grow one. I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yes. And it was a hard time keeping it together, but they kept it together, and it's a historical town that you can go visit today.
Awesome.
Nicodemus came to be after the Reconstruction in the South when the federal troops pulled out and Jim Crow reared its ugly head. And they had the backlash against the slaves because they were made to let things happen. They were made to allow the slaves to vote, to have land, so forth and so on. So soon, and they had to do that for years. So when the federal troops were pulled out years later, they immediately started taking away everything that they had built up. And it was Jim Crow up the gazoo.
Wow.
And so the slaves decided, the ex-slaves, the enslaved people, and I'm saying that because I read a statement a lady said, and it opened my eyes, and it made me change how I spoke, because what she said was absolutely true. And we all say it, but we didn't think about it. The woman said, I am not a slave, or I am not a descendant of slaves. I am a descendant of enslaved people. We use the term that they were slaves, but they were not slaves. They were Africans, or they were enslaved people.
Yeah. Oh,
Marlene,
that is powerful.
We need to think of it in that term. So I'm trying to retrain my mind to say that.
Yeah, that is so powerful, and I'm upset right now.
Yeah. I thought it was powerful, and I thought it was.
No, I'm upset. Want to know why, Marlene? Let me tell you why I'm upset. Can I tell you?
Oh,
because I don't have this book. I don't have this book in my hand. What am I gonna do tonight? It's gonna take a couple of days for me to get it. I really want to delve into it right now, and I know our listening audience wants this book also. So I just want to break up a little bit. Directors, how can we get a copy of our books, Marlene? So I got to get mine.
Okay.
Where can we order it?
Which book are you talking about? The book you have? Or you
no,
talking about my
we're talking.
So you talking about my books?
Yeah, your book. We were talking about tonight.
Well, you can get my book on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. You can get Gunman is only out electronically at the moment. I will be having it out in paperback in the fall. But right now it's only out electronically. You can get it at Amazon. You can get it at Barnes & Noble through Nook, and you can get it Kobo. And
cool. Okay, awesome. I can get it tonight then.
Yes,
I feel better
you can
now.
get it. And in the fall, it'll be out paperback.
Awesome.
I'm trying to get it out in September. Probably in September, it'll be out by paperback.
Okay, that's great.
Because a lot of people are saying they prefer paperback. And I can understand why. There's just something about paperback we don't want to let go. And I'm one of those people also, so I understand that. Electronic is good, but I don't know. There's just something special about holding that book in your hand.
Absolutely. I concur.
Exactly. That there's different than holding that electronic device. Electronic devices are nice, and I know the younger generation, they're all into it. But there's just something special about holding that book.
Yes, with some cocoa or Pop-Tarts.
And turning those pages. And to me, too, I have a thing because I always feel electronic devices can go bad, batteries, whatever.
Yes.
But that book is there. And you don't have to depend on batteries, lights, or whatever. That book is there. Once those words are there, the only thing that happens, those pages may turn yellow, but you can still read them.
That's right.
And so, it has a much longer life as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
So you can get any of my books. You can get now all the other 3 books, Ruth's Redemption, Greenwood and Archer, and Son of a Preacher Man, are all electronic and paperback. And you can get those at any venue, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. You can get them Christian anywhere. You can get them anywhere. And you can get them in any form.
You guys, for those who are tuning in, we are on the line with author Marlene Banks. I'm serious, and I don't really do this too much. You know that. You have got to get her books. They're so beautiful. The covers are beautiful. It's beautiful on the inside and outside. Marlene knows how to take you on a journey, take you to a place you've never been before, and actually, like she mentioned, in some of her story, there are some realities to it. So you're going to learn some history to it. You're going to have some fun. You really want to go over on Amazon, wherever she mentioned, and order these books. She is a phenomenon. She tackled this history. It's not going to be, it's more of an enlightening awareness. It's not depression and all that, because I used to think that's how those stories work, considering our history, Marlene. But you tackle the subject wonderfully, such as Beverly Jenkins. Y'all the only 2 authors I know that can handle these genre and handle it wonderfully. So that says a lot. It really does. So go over there and order her books today, tonight, tomorrow, and not only just one, order several. They make good gifts. They really do. So we're talking about Gunmen Have No Sabbath. So why the title? Why did that come about? Is a metaphor for they're always restless, Marlene, these 4 dark
the title means that gunmen, violence. It's a play on the fact that when you live by your gun, you get no rest. You live under the cloak of violence, then you get no rest, you have no peace.
So they bad boys, in other words? On any redemption?
Well, gunmen. They're gunmen.
Ooh.
Yeah. But they're trying to change. And they come to Nicodemus with the hopes of starting fresh and having a new life and coming out of that living with the fast gun. But, of course, there's always a hitch. And they're coming to Nicodemus to help the people because there's always a bad guy, and his name is Lucas Hitchcock. And he's trying to take over Nicodemus. And he's trying to take it over because the railroad is trying to buy up land because they want to come through there. And he wants to purchase all the land in that area and sell it to the railroad. But he really doesn't want the railroad to come there. But they don't know it. He's playing 2 sides against the other. Then there's a good guy named Jeffrey Abington. And Jeffrey Abington is trying to block Lucas Hitchcock. They're arch enemies. And he teams up with another good guy, Harlan Colby, and they're trying to fight Lucas Hitchcock with the people from Nicodemus stuck in the middle, and they're like the pawns. Well, these 4 gunmen are hired by Jeffrey Abington to come in and protect the people of Nicodemus. because they're the black people, and they're 4 black gunmen, and Lucas and them are all white, and he hires the 4 black gunmen to come in and protect their people.
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
To protect this black town.
This is delightful.
And so there's a big shootout, and then we have the 10th Cavalry Buffalo Soldiers coming in. I'm not going to tell too much. And then I'm not going to tell too much. And the Indians live on the riverbank, and then I'm not going to tell too much. And then there's a whole lot of stuff, because you know how I am with my people. I have a whole lot of little sub-stories going on in between.
Ooh. And
it's like a little soap opera going on. It's not just one plot. I have a lot of little subplots. So you get a lot of good stories going on at one time to keep you interested. And I like to tell a good story, and I weave it, and it's woven. So
she does. She's an awesome storyteller.
And it gives you the history of Nicodemus and what the pioneers, those black pioneers, had to go through. And they are called exodusters. That was a name given to those black people who left the Jim Crow South and moved west of the Mississippi looking for a life that they couldn't get in the South. And they called them exodusters in correlation to the Exodus that was in the Bible when the Hebrews left out of Egypt. And because they went to the west of the Mississippi into the dusty, dry Kansas, Oklahoma, what we would call the Dust Belt, which was very different from the red, fertile greenery of the South, which they was used to, into this dry, dusty land that had no trees hardly. And that's why the government was selling the land. Come there, plant trees, and cultivate this land. The government was selling off the plots so people would come, plant, and cultivate this land and farm this land. But it was not easy because the weather was harsh. There were no trees. And it was a hard life. But it was worth it if you could survive it for the freedoms that it could offer you away from that Jim Crow South. And although a lot of people couldn't take the weather and even went back to the South, there were those who stayed, weathered the storm, and made a home there. So I break it down with some of the history, and I tell the story, which is the fictional part of the story, but I give you some actual history along the way. And I throw in a little of the Western flair. I put in Bat Masterson. I throw him in there. And it's just a fun story. It's just a fun story. And a little gunfighting and a little gambling. And I have my little saloon sister in there with her sexy self. And yes, I do the whole real Western thing.
Wow.
It was a fun story to write. It was really fun.
I bet. How long did it take you to write?
I would say, for when I actually started, I would say 6 months.
Not bad at all. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit. I like the town Nicodemus. For those who are biblical scholars, you know who Nicodemus is. He approached Jesus by night. So did the town have any significance? Anything on the cover?
Now, strangely enough, the town Nicodemus was not named after Nicodemus from the Bible. It was named after a slave, and I put that at the end of the novel. I tell who the town was named after. It was named after a slave, Nicodemus, and there's a song about the slave Nicodemus who got his freedom. I think he was supposed to have been one of the first slaves that came over and got his freedom. And there was a song about him. And he was probably named after the Nicodemus in the Bible. But that's who the town was named after.
Wow. Another one to grow on. So you guys got to get this book. I mean, she weaves details. She wove it, like she said. Reality.
Now, this town was a very prosperous town at one time. And they had their own They were very self-sustaining. It was founded by a white man and a black man and some preachers, and they went and got people from the South, and they came and they had their own stores, and they were prosperous, and they would have been a booming town, but they couldn't get the railroad to come. They kept trying to get the railroad to come, and they couldn't, and this is part of the story also. The railroad finally went 3 miles outside of the town. It wouldn't come. And then they started moving out to where the railroad was, and that's when the town sort of fell apart. And it never grew like it should. But actually it survived well into the 1940s, and it sort of disappeared. But some of the kids' descendants came back in the 1900s, reestablished certain things, got grants for the historical aspects of it, and that's why it's still surviving today. It was made a national historical town, and funds and monies for that is what's keeping it surviving today.
Wow, I did not know that, Marlene. That is interesting and wonderful to hear.
Survived. Those people went through so much. The weather alone was, I mean, they lived in what you would call holes in the ground, actually. That's what they were, holes in the ground. That's how you had to come down there.
Wow. They had a will to live. And
that's how desperate they were to get out of the South.
That's true. What do you see playing, let's talk about now, 2014, African Americans then and African Americans now. Are we so easy to give up now? I know we have this microwave, I wouldn't say everyone, not just African Americans, but people, you know. Everything is so fast nowadays, especially with social media. I think there's some pros and cons to it. So African Americans, do you think that tenacity, that temerity to survive is still there? Like you said, the grass was crazy. We didn't have the tools like we have today, and they were still willing to survive, willing to not go back into bondage. They knew that they had their freedom. At least some of them did. So we have that today as a people, Marlene, to survive and to help each other, if you will.
Well, I think it's a whole different field. It's a whole the dynamics of where we are is entirely different as a people. The unity is not there because we've been fragmented, because we have a certain segment that's very successful, which we didn't have back then. We have a certain segment that is middle class. So we still have the very poor. We have the younger people who have no clue of what it is to struggle. We have it's just the mindset is entirely different. So we have all these different things that would, it's never going to be like that again. I don't think it's ever going to be the same because the lifestyles are just entirely different. And it's not just for our culture, it's for the Asian people are complaining about their young people.
Yes.
The Italians are complaining. You know, the world is so different now.
It's different.
So
very much.
The will to survive has changed. The whole ground has changed. What it takes to survive now does not look like what it took to survive then. You had to work together back then in order to survive. Families had to stick together. You had to. It was a more agricultural society. Now it's not. It was a whole different terrain. So people thought entirely differently.
Right.
So now people are thinking more individually. The families are fractured. It's more technology. And now people don't even think, they're thinking more individually. It's more about me. God has been pushed out. It's more about me. It's not even about God. It's not even about family. It's about me. Me. I might bring in my family. I might bring in my kids. I might bring in my husband. But that's about it. If I do that, it's me. We have become so insular in our thinking. There used to be a time parents thought, oh, they gave their lives for their kids. Not anymore. And it's not that you think that a parent should just sacrifice everything for their kids, but they did, and they did it willingly. Now you hear parents, I got to live.
I heard that.
They'll say it quick.
I've heard that several times.
At my own life. You hear their mother say that in a heartbeat. And it's not that it's wrong that they feel that way, but it's that they say it with the thing that, look, I'm not going to be doing but so much for these kids. And it's that attitude they say it with. They're not as sacrificial as our parents were. And they have no intentions of being that way. No one is as sacrificial as they used to be. And I'm not just pointing the finger because I probably am nowhere near as sacrificial as my parents was. I guess it's just a generational thing. It's the way the world has turned. It's the way the enemy has subtly conditioned us. We have become more and more selfish, more and more insular. And if it wasn't for the word of God, we would be worse.
Yes.
And for the people in the body of Christ, we have to fight to keep from getting more and more like that. God helps us to keep from being even more like that. And without God, I feel sorry for you because you really get stuck into that.
Why do you feel we have to fight to not get stuck into that?
Because it's become a natural instinct, and everything around us tells us to be that way. You are you are the captain of your own ship. You do your own thing. You have to decide what you want to do. You have to live for yourself. Don't let anybody tell you what to do. You have to do what you want to do. Be your own. You decide what you want to be. You define your own future. It's about you.
That's true.
And the world is constantly telling us that. It's about us. That it's all about us. And we're being fed a steady diet of this. We're being fed a steady diet of selfishness. And we don't really have to be fed it but so much. It comes natural, probably. And, I have to catch myself sometimes. I say, oh, whoa, Marlene. This isn't about you. I catch myself sometimes, You have to back yourself up off of it sometimes. I said, whoa, don't get on that selfish bandwagon because it comes naturally. Everything around us tells us to be that way. So you have to, check yourself.
Check yourself. That's right. And like you said, it can become natural, especially when you have so many hopes and dreams and nobody wants to help you achieve those. And when you go through so much rejection, so much hurt, your natural instinct is to become, if a cat's back is up against the wall, its natural instinct is to scratch.
Exactly.
So like you said, it's natural to want to become bitter. So you have to watch yourself, catch yourself, and become humble, remain humble. Because it's easy, like you said, to give up. It's easy to become bitter, all these things, you know. So,
nobody's helping me. Nobody's here for me. When is this going to be my turn? Everybody's getting a break but me. And it'll feel that way. And especially, like you said, if you're going through stuff, you get tired of going through stuff.
You do.
And then you start feeling sorry for yourself, and that comes easy.
Very easy.
Especially exactly. And you start getting disappointments and rejections, and, oh, Lord, it's easy to feel I don't know about other people, but I can jump into a pity party quite easily.
Until
it's not hard to do that. And I mean, I know people say, well, I don't, but I do. I mean, I don't do it often now because I've learned how not to, but it wasn't hard to jump into a pity party back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this happening to me? I'm a good person.
Mm-hmm.
Worse than me, and they getting it easy. Why am I going through stuff?
Mm-hmm. That's
I'm
why,
better
Marlene,
than them.
That's one of the reasons
I'm
why
better than them, and they getting it easy, and I'm getting a hard time. That's not right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, you're easy to fall into that comparison, and then the Lord let me know, stop comparing yourself to people. Then you won't have to worry about what they're going through and what you're going through.
That's
the Bible
very
says,
correct.
don't compare yourself. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's because their destiny and your destiny are not the same.
Mm-hmm.
What I want you to do and what I need I'm not even dealing with them. The enemy might have them. I have no concern for them. I have a destiny for you. You got to go through this because I got to get you into a certain place.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going where you're going. You know. And I had to learn that. I had to have that banged into my head.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not easy to take that. So, you know, we have to learn how to come out of ourselves.
Right.
And selfishness comes in different forms. Most people would tell you they don't think they're selfish. But selfishness is not just not wanting to help anybody or wanting to do something for them. There's a lot of self-involvement or self-concern. You know, there's a lot of different ways to be selfish.
Mm-hmm.
And we live in a society that feeds that to us, that tells us and teaches us how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Therapy. A lot of this secular therapy is based on thinking only about yourself.
Right.
Which is good to a certain point now. There are times when you need to think about yourself. Don't get me wrong. You have to take care of yourself. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
But then there needs to be a balance. And that's the hard thing. Yes. The hard thing is just try to have that balance where you're taking care of yourself, but you're not overdoing it. So that's all you think about is taking care of yourself, because you can overdo that as well.
Absolutely.
And the world will have you overdoing it if you listen to the world's way of doing things.
You're right.
It will be
it's
all
about
you
humility.
think about. Because what it sounds like to me, Jesus was saying is, don't be just thinking about yourself. He was like, hey, take your coat off and give it to the other guy. And I'm thinking, won't I be cold? Didn't he say that?
That's a prime example of what you just said. We think about ourselves. Won't I be cold? If Jesus tell you to do something, he's going to make provision. It's not his aim or his MI to make you hurt or suffer. He don't abuse the one you love.
Exactly.
So I got it. I got it. For those just tuning in, we are on live with Marlene Banks. The hour has come and gone, Marlene, already. Man, we have to bring you back. Again, for those who want to purchase your book of Marlene's, you want to go on over to Amazon, well, actually any online retail stores, and get her books. There are Roots Redemption.
I just want to say, my latest book is entirely different. It's a contemporary romance called A Happy Anniversary. You can get it on Amazon, Kindle, electronically. It's a funny. It's not a historical. It's contemporary. It's a funny book about romance in modern times.
Ooh, that sounds it. I'm looking at it now.
It's entirely different from anything I've written to date, and it's a very realistic. It might not be for people who are kind of touchy about being realistic about sex and love in modern times, for the single Christian people who are trying to stay pure, not live in sin, but you're human.
Wow,
how to manage this thing, and try not to have sex and live in sin, but you're grown, your hormones is running. Here comes this perfect man, looking good, feeling good, and he wants sex.
Yay.
And here comes your dream man, and he's trying to get some, and you trying not to give it up. And you're a Christian, and he's not. All that good stuff. It's called a happy anniversary. Get it today.
I'm gonna recommend this to my book club, my church book club.
Oh, great.
That's what I'm gonna do. That sounds
and it's a series called the Be Happy series, and the next one will be out in November, and it'll be a series. This is a happy anniversary. The next one will be a happy Thanksgiving, and it's a series about Be Happy. Her last name is Happy, and her life and how she navigates, because there's this one particular guy. He's not saved. He's the man of her dreams, the hunk. You know the devil's going to throw him back in there, right? Of course. She got saved, and so he had to bring up the man of her life, of her dreams, to tempt her. And how she's dealing with this situation and trying to live for God at the same time. So it's an ongoing saga, lady.
That's what she does.
Yes, and plus she has other men. She has other men to deal with too. She has this one guy. He's an undertaker. She doesn't like him too much because she doesn't like a man that deals with dead people.
I know that's right. Oh no, no.
She said, "Oh no, I cannot be kissing some man, and he done just come from flipping over a dead body. No.
That's the deal breaker, right? I can't.
But undertakers make good money. That's a good career.
I can't do it, Marlene. No. I can't do it.
Do you know that's a secret? I once said I wanted to be an undertaker.
Why? Really?
Yes, because I thought it was a good career.
No. I hear those bodies, even though they're dead, I hear those bodies sometimes react and move still. They sit up and all that. Oh, no. I've been with enough spirits alive.
But you said that was too much for you, huh? Well, that's how people feel. Well, it's fun because it's a whole family of them. It's a dysfunctional family. She has a grandmother that'll knock you upside the head with a cane. She has a dog that has problems. It's a very fun thing. Oh yes, the dog got problems. He'll hump your leg. Oh yes, he got problems. The whole thing it's a fun book. If you ever read Stephanie Ivanovich's Stephanie Plum, the one for the money, two for the show, they made a movie. It's similar to that. It's about the whole dysfunctional family, her mother, her sisters. She has two sisters, a brother. Oh, it's a fun book. It's a dysfunctional family, and it's a series.
I'll have to check that out, too. This is what Marlene do to me, guys. She does this to me. All her books are phenomenal. Got to get 2 books. Marlene, thank you so much. Now, before we go, you are an author, and you have a plethora of books out there. And you've been on the show many times. You share your testimony as far as becoming an author, your journey to becoming published. For those who are out there aspiring to become an author, doors was closed, they feel disheartened, discouraged even, what words of advice would you offer to those out there who are listening?
Don't give up. If this is what God has for you to do, it will happen. And it's not necessarily going to happen quickly. If you're in a hurry, forget it. Because it can take a long time. But it will happen if that's what God wants. Meanwhile, while you're waiting, write. And write. And write. And write. Perfect that craft. Keep writing. It's the best thing you can do is write. Writers write and writers read.
Absolutely.
Do what you can do. Learn what you can learn. Keep it in prayer. Make sure it's what God has for you to do, right? And keep your relationship close to God, and He will guide you through this whole thing. Don't give up. If that is what God has for you, it will happen.
Amen. I concur. If that's what God has for you, it will happen. Keep writing. Keep writing. Keep writing. And, you know, Marlene, let me add on to that we are in another generation where some people wait. You don't have to wait. You can create. If God wants you to self-publish, self-publish. God wants you to do other alternatives to get your book out there, listen to His voice. And don't look around. It's so detrimental to your life when you look around at other people and then you become rejected, dejected, hurt. Remember in the Bible, Asaph looked around. He said, what is going on here? You remember that, Marlene? Like everybody prospering but me. So we don't want that state of mind. But what he did say was, then I remember what God has done for me. Somebody needs to remember where God has brought them from, how God has delivered them and set them free, how God has given you a talent and a gift to share. And if God has ordained it, He's going to orchestrate it. He's going to make provision for His vision for you. Don't get discouraged. Don't be dismayed.
Yeah. And
Thank you so much, Marlene.
Don't look around. One thing I stress, I tell people, stay in your lane. Don't just do something because you see somebody else doing it.
Yes.
Do what God has for you to do.
Yes.
Don't look at what other people are doing and say, oh, I want to. Do what God has for you to listen to His voice, what He's telling you to do.
Yes.
And do what He has for you to do, but do it in His timing now.
There you go.
Like she said, self-publishing is fine, but just don't jump out there to be jumping out there. You go when He tells you to go. Because if you jump, and I am notorious for having jumped out there and done things in life that God didn't tell me to do or ahead of time.
Me too. Yes.
And I've always regretted it. Wait and listen for God. Because when He tells you to do it, it won't be hard to do. If you got to struggle, then that means He's not telling you to do it. You're getting out there and you're doing it on your own. When He opens that door, it will be smooth sailing.
Oh, I love it.
If you got to fight and struggle and sweat, that's not God opening the door for you. That's you trying to kick it open and squeeze it open and push it open.
I've experienced that. You're absolutely right.
When He opens it, it's just open and you just walk through. Wait for God to tell you to do it, and He will tell you. Gunmen, I self-publish Gunmen because Moody no longer publishes fiction.
That's what I heard, yeah.
Moody published my first 3, but they're not publishing fiction. And I'll go to another publisher and get some of my other fiction because I have some other things. But for now, I wanted Gunmen out there. And I just kept hearing that I should do it. Don't wait. Because my publisher kept saying, no, let me take it. She took it to a few publishers, and some of them said Westerns weren't popular at the time. I like Westerns. And something just kept saying, look, it's been a while since you put something out there. Your name is just starting to go out there. Don't let too much time go without putting something else out. Because people were asking me, when is your next book coming out? Because I had 3 books come out in 1 year. When you start a momentum like that, people have expectations.
Yes.
So I decided I would self-publish Gunmen.
I'm glad you did.
And but I was hesitant for a long time, and I wanted to be sure this is what God was leading me to do.
Did you hear that?
Because not so much because you're gonna make big bucks off of it, but because that His hand was on it. Because anything you do, if you're doing it with His hand on it, and that's not necessarily meaning you're going to get filthy rich, that doesn't determine whether or not His hand is on it. That means His hand is sending you through the steps towards your destiny. Just like Joseph. Joseph went through his steps to become, Prime Minister of Egypt, for lack of a better term. But look at the steps he took. They weren't looking too cool there. Potiphar, he ran Potiphar's house, and then he ended up in jail. I mean, he ended up running the jail. But who wants to run a jail? But he ended up running the jail.
Yes, he did. He was lied on, talked about,
but that was a step. But you would say, but the fact that he even had to go to jail was not looking too cool. But he ended up running. But it was a step. And then eventually he ended up to his destiny. Look at David, running in caves and hiding. But it was a step. Everything you do is a step. But you have to be in the hands of God.
Yes.
And it might not always look good. It doesn't always look good. But you have to stay in the hands of God no matter what you're going through. If you're going to reach your destiny. And that's the bottom line. To be doing and serving God and whatever you're doing, you're writing, whatever your calling is, be it writing or whatever. If you're trying to serve God, stay in his hands, follow his directions. And all the time it's not easy because it's confusing sometimes of what you're supposed to do. So you have to stay in prayer. And it's not always easy to understand what you're supposed to do. Sometimes you have to stop and just stay where you are and wait and figure out, what am I supposed to do? So you have to just stay where you are and don't go anywhere. And that can drive you crazy. And then you have the disappointments. And I heard Vanessa was disappointed recently about something. And I know the feeling, girl, because I've been there. And disappointments can throw you back and make you frustrated and everything. But you eventually get over it. You'll get over whatever it is. And then you have to suck it up and you regroup. You hear a word from God and you start back out again.
That's it.
It might be in a different direction. It might, be a revelation that you get or whatever. And you start back out again.
There you go.
You never give up.
Right.
Because you have a destiny and you know it. And that's the bottom line. You have a destiny to serve God and to do whatever it is he has for you to do.
That's
and
right.
And that's what my writing is about. I write in the Spirit, and ultimately, that's my destiny, to write, to serve him. And I enjoy it. So I have the best of both worlds. I'm doing what I love to do and serve him at the same time. What more could I ask?
Oh, I love it. What more?
I could ask to be filthy rich too, but that'll come.
It'll come. I believe that in due time.
Oh, it doesn't matter. That doesn't even matter. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if it happened, but that's not the main point. The main point is to serve God. You do it as a career. The career end of it, yes, you want to make money, definitely. I'm not going to act like I don't. But then the ministry part of it, it's about the service.
Yes.
And it's about writing good stories. I just love doing that. I just love doing it. And if I can write a good story and glorify God at the same time, oh, that's just wonderful to me. I'm just in heaven practically.
I love it. Marlene, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. You, like I said, you give great conversations. I thank you so much for joining us at the 11th hour at that.
And I thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, always. My pleasure. Have a good one.
You have a blessed one. And I love my reading audience. Blessings to everyone. And keep reading America. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. Keep reading America. Thank you, Marlene. Well, you guys, just call me DJ Vanessa tonight. I want to play this song by Jacqueline Carr. I'm on the rise. For those who are listening, we had a phenomenal showcase. At the top of the hour, we had Jonathan Chase. He played Sam in Tyler Perry's Love by Neighbor. He concluded at the second segment with Arthur Marlene Banks. Head over there and get those books on Amazon or wherever retail online stores are. Go ahead and get that book. I'm going to suggest one of them to my book club, church book club, of Be Happy Romance. Let me check it out. So I have something to read. And I'm on Amazon right now, getting ready to order. Checking it out. So you do the same. So I'm going to go ahead and play Jacqueline Carr, I'm on the Rise. You are on the rise. Do not get discouraged. Don't get disheartened. Sometimes God closes doors that are open too early. And when God closes a door, it is what it is. He wants you to learn something. He's saying, not now. Let me perfect this in you. Or he's saying, this is not the way I want you to go. And when God opened a door, guess what? Can't no one close it. He's omnipotent. He's all-powerful. And if God said it, then it's going to come to pass. Don't get discouraged. Be encouraged. And I always say this, listen, never go to a place where you're simply tolerated and not celebrated. That's not what you was designed for, and that's not what you was called to be. Know your self-worth, recognize who you are. Recognize your value, all right? And then those who are out there are actors, go back and listen to the archives. Jonathan had so much to say. And then those who are aspiring to be writers and authors, listen to the archives also and hear so much information that Marlene Banks has said tonight. Now, without further ado, I want to go ahead and end this like this. You know how we do here on the Certain Ones Block Talk Radio Show. We say this to you in love. If no one told you that they love you today, yes, tomorrow even, guess what? You are hearing it here first on the Certain Ones Block Talk Radio Show. We love you with the love of the Father. Until then, continue to inspire as you aspire. Let's go get it. Why? Because we are on the rise.
Every word that God releases over your life, the enemy will try to come against it. He knows that you were born with a purpose, so the enemy will tell you that you're worthless. He knows you're the children of the covenant, so he tries to show you the opposite. And he's really been after your anointing, but you gotta proclaim the devil can't hold me, 'cause I'm on the rise. The chosen generation, so the enemy will show you frustration. He knows that you're walking in healing. That's why the pain said that you've been feeling all the time. He tried to come from all angles. I'm on the rise. I'm on the rise. All the believers declare, I'm on the rise. I'm on the rise.
the Certain One Talk Show, aspiring to inspire. To find out more about the talk show with your host, Vanessa Richardson, you may log on to www.blogtalkradio.com/thecertainones.com. That's www.blogtalkradio.com/thecertainones.com. Thank you for tuning in to this week's show with Vanessa Richardson, inspiring author and playwright.